Welcome in, everybody. This is the Casual Sports Podcast minus Alec Caberna here today, but it's Mike and Matt once again. We're ready.
We got
to
the
roll
two
here
M's.
today. We get the two M's here. Alec is still producing, so if we talk about Michigan, he can still kick us out of the stream. So we better just stick to what we're going with. So we're gonna jump right into it. Mike, how you doing today?
How's
that final week?
End of the
Finals
semester.
here.
It's getting rough.
Man, it's getting rough.
More than rough.
It's
too
rough.
much to do, and I haven't even done any of it. So
I haven't done any of it. It's most of it's due tonight.
Well, I got stuff due tomorrow, one due tonight, so it's gonna be a long night. But we're here.
Let's talk about sports for an hour.
Yeah,
let's get away
get
from
our minds
this
off
and talk about sports. And we're gonna start out with the Ravens versus Steelers game. And I'm gonna go off here.
Go ahead.
Man,
you can start it off.
I'll start this off. Big Ben, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, got sacked once. But the key here was getting to Lamar Jackson on defense. They sacked him 7 times. 7 times. That is unbelievable. That's hard to do, too, especially with Lamar Jackson. That guy can take off and go 30 yards like that. And that defense controlled him like they usually do. They have contained Lamar Jackson every time they played him. So defense did their part. And Big Ben, I mean, he was way better than he was. I wouldn't say it was his best performance. It's one of his best of this year, but it's way better than he was playing a couple weeks ago. And for the past couple of weeks, 236 yards, only 31 attempts, 21 completions. That's where you need him. That's right where you need him. And then you got Harris getting the ball, 21 carries, 71 yards. So that's what you need for him. And even Benny Snell, 2 carries, 13 yards. That is good right there. And then receiving, Deontay Johnson is a gem. I totally forgot. Let's talk about this for a second. I totally forgot Juju's on this team.
Especially with him being injured and them finding other guys.
And Juju, when he was there, wasn't really there.
Matt, the one thing I like, you brought up the defense first, so I'll go there. They bounced back in this game because we talked about they haven't been playing to what they have been the last year or so, the last few weeks. They haven't been doing that. And the thing I keep telling you I like about TJ Watt and what I think separates him from other pass rushers in the league, he gets to the quarterback at the most important times. He gets to them late in the games to save games. He gets to them and keep points.
They didn't have him in the past couple of games.
And they didn't have that, right. So, and it just shows in his stats how important he is to this team. It shows, especially to the defense. And on the offensive side of the ball too, Matt, they found ways to run the ball. And, they did it pretty consistently throughout the game. They haven't really done it consistently throughout the year because I talk about their offensive line. It has to be better. But as far as Ben in this game, it probably is the best game he played this year. And it was vintage Ben. He was extending plays like we know he has done in the past. He was, moving around in the pocket and getting some things done and giving his receivers time to get open. And that's why he was able to find guys like Johnson and stuff like that for big pickups. So I definitely liked what I saw of the Steelers in this game. And I told you guys I just had a feeling they were going to win this game. I felt like they were at home. They normally come when they're struggling to come home and win big games. This is what they do, and they were able to do
that defense. Another guy showing up with TJ. TJ had 3.5 sacks. Chris Wormley, the former Raven, he's actually from Toledo. He went to Michigan too. And he came in and did pretty good. Minka Fitzpatrick had 7 solo tackles as well, and I believe he had an interception as well. So good job for them. I liked how Justin Lane fit in there too, and I liked Schobert too. Joe Schobert was playing some ball. But Baltimore moving on from here. I mean, they got to go play Cleveland next week, and they barely got past them the week before. Or a couple of weeks before. Didn't somebody have a bye? Cleveland had a bye.
Yeah, Cleveland did. And they got to play at Cleveland, then home against Green Bay, at Cincinnati, home against the Rams and Steelers. So they got a tough way to finish the season out, and we'll see if they can get through it because they found ways to win games this year.
Yeah, so does Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, I mean, they play tomorrow night. They play Thursday night football after that tight game. This was a 20-19 game. It took them all 4 quarters to win this game, especially that defense. Now they're going to come in short week and play the Vikings, and the Vikings like to tamper with teams. I know they just lost to the Lions. That makes them even more dangerous. They just lost to the worst team in football.
And
I think they're playing them on a short week.
Yeah, and I think them losing to a team like the Lions the way they did, because they had that game, but they had a mishap at the end of the game. So they lose. Steelers win coming in. I think both teams are, obviously coming in opposite directions coming in, but I still think, they were saying last week for the Steelers that was a must-win. I think every game is a must-win for them at this point. This is a very winnable game. I know it's on the road. It's tough to play them, but this is a game they must win.
They could probably lose one more game, like a 10-6-1, but maybe. But they got to win. They got to win. But we'll talk more about the Steelers-Vikings game, I'm sure, after tomorrow or something like that. Yeah. But we're going to move on to the team that they're playing. And the next game here, Vikings-Lions recap, 29-27. Lions get their first win of the season. They're 1-10-1 now. So, Mike, what did you take from this game here?
On the Lions side, Jared Goff played kind of well. He was 25 of 41 for 296. It's pretty good. And they three touchdowns, I think it was. He only had the one interception. You can live with that.
One interception. Yeah. And I liked how Jamal Williams ran the ball as well, too.
Yeah.
And 17 carries, 71 yards. That was some good ground game right there.
And with their defense, that's what I've been kind of talking about, why they've kind of been in games, because they've been holding teams lower scores. But this game, it was their offense. And, you give up 27 points, but you find a way to put up 29 on the last play of the game, and you're able to win it for your first win. And, honestly, I felt like picking Detroit in this game. I didn't, because I've been picking them a few times. They haven't done it. But you just got to feel good for them, because you saw post-game how much Dan Campbell it meant to him and Jared Goff and the guys. Nobody wants to go winless. They wanted to get one win. They're 13, 14 weeks in. It was good for them to get a first win.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kirk Cousins on the other side, 2 touchdowns, 340 yards. Pretty good day too. So, got a shout out to him too. And see if they can do any better tomorrow night against Pittsburgh, because they can use this game as a motivation, but it can also be like, wow, we really lost to them, and they're still thinking about it. And they go into this game still thinking about it, and it won't work out too well.
Yeah, and their rushing game wasn't too bad either. Especially without Dalvin Cook. They had guys step up. Madison had, 22 carries for 90 yards, so that's pretty solid.
Yep.
You'd like to see maybe a little bit more on 22 carries, but, I guess you could say the Vikings, they had a chance to win this game, and they did things to win it, and they had, balance on both the ground and through the air. Their receiving wasn't too bad either, but it just wasn't enough. And they left, at the end of the game, they just had a miscue on defense.
Yep. And, the next 3 games are not going to be easy. You got Steelers, the Bears. The Bears are one of those teams like the Vikings. They'll beat you if you don't take them seriously. Then you got to go play the Rams.
Yeah.
So, and then, then there's after that, too. They got to get back on trail. They're always inconsistent, and Kirk Cousins one day he played pretty good this past week, but one day he's magnificent and the next day he's subpar, or somebody else is subpar, and it makes him look bad. And I think that's what kind of happened in this game. Maybe a little bit. Maybe their defense kind of struggled against this Lions offense. They just ran, and so
honestly, we'll flip it over. We'll got to see how the Lions respond now after getting their first win. They got some tough games coming up. They got the Broncos this week, Cardinals next week. I know they have nothing to really play for, but we'll see how they respond after getting their first win. And we'll see. Obviously you want to keep winning, but tough schedule. We'll see how they react to it.
Yep. Let's see. I think they still have a slight chance to make the playoffs. I saw something like a week ago that said
mathematically, but
it said 45 things that need to happen.
Yeah.
But that is
getting the first win, though, it helps.
They got their first win. No, that definitely helps. All right, we're going to move on here to this next game. There's not much more to talk about that Vikings game. Talk about the Washington football team here and their game. How about that game, Mike? Football team.
You got to like the way the Washington football team's been playing. You got to like it, because they've won 4 in a row. Before that, they were 2-6. Teams, people writing them off, not taking them seriously. And I got to talk about. I know you like Taylor Heineke. We've all talked about him on the show.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know if he's the future, but he's been playing good football.
Pretty good right now. So
he's playing with confidence. What did he have in this game? He's been playing with a lot of confidence, Matt, and he's taken over for Fitzpatrick since week 1. He hasn't shown any lack of skills that he can get things done. Look at these last 4 weeks. He was 23 of 30 for
this was a tight 196. Game too.
It could have been more, but
both 6-6 now. As the Raiders, they lost by 2, 17-15. Heineke 196 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. But how about Antonio Gibson on the ground here? 23 carries, 88 yards, no touchdowns, but I'm sure he got them where they needed to go. And then, I mean, on the Raiders side, Derek Carr, 249 yards. You had, I mean, Josh Jacobs, I mean, finally making a little bit of a statement, 13 carries, 52 yards, and a touchdown. So that's something there. But you didn't get much from Kenyon Drake, the only one carry and 0 yards. But Josh Jacobs has needed to step up, and he finally did a little bit in this game. So
yeah, Washington wins it. Last second kick? I think they just signed that kicker too, or something like he just joined the team.
Yeah, I think so.
So last second kick like that, that's a good way to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the receiving part, Hunter Renfrow now really cementing himself as that lead receiver now. 9 receptions, 102 yards. But, I mean, they threw to Josh Jacobs, too. He had 38 receiving yards as well. So he did it on running and receiving. But, I mean, Deshaun Jackson, they brought him in to, fill that void because of Ruggs is gone. And they only throw to him one time. Like, you brought him in to throw to him one time. Even Zay Jones, 3 times? Zay Jones
and Zay Jones is the guy that played good. He played good on that Thanksgiving Day game. So, you'd like to see them target him a little bit more. And like you said, it seems like they're really just going to Hunter Renfrow. I mean, Josh Jacobs had some targets. I mean, he had 9 catches, so he was helping out in the passing game. But yeah, for Deshaun Jackson and Zay Jones, you got to probably target them a little bit more. If they might have a few more times, they might have won this game.
Yeah, and here's that question there: can Washington win the NFC East? Mike, your Cowboys are in that division. Well, they're only 2 games back, right?
So yeah, they're 2 games back. I'm not bias aside, fandom aside. I still think it's a Cowboys division, but I've got to admit it's not as easy as I thought it was, and it's
gonna be hard.
I mean, they play this weekend. It's in Washington, so
oh boy,
they play. I think 2 out of the next 3 weeks.
We'll talk about that game on Friday, but man, that's gonna be a game to talk about. Probably spending a lot talking about.
We got them playing each other 2 the next 3 weeks, so I mean, it's gonna be a battle. Like I said, I still think it's the Cowboys division, but they're gonna be playoffs either way. But you got to give credit to what Washington's been doing. You really do. They've been getting it done. They've been doing what they need to do with Heineke, and their defense stepped up. I know we talked about how bad they were at the beginning of the year, but Ron Rivera's got them playing good right now. You got to give him credit.
Yeah, absolutely. And they also play the day after Christmas too, so that'll be a good game to watch there too. Day after Christmas, Cowboys, Washington.
I mean, end of the year, you got all these division matchups. You got to win them.
Oh yeah, got to win them. Well, all right, we're gonna move on here. Next game, Eagles versus Jets. Eagles flying away, and this one's 33-18 over those Jets. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah,
here?
I mean, so they're another team that's making a run too. 6 and 7 now. They're getting things, and they won it with Gardner Minshew.
Eagles are in the same division. Yeah, Gardner Minshew, man.
20 of 25 with 242, and Matt, this guy just likes to win. He just likes to get out there and compete and have chances to win.
If they decide to stay with Jalen Hurts, I mean, a team like Pittsburgh, I'd be going after Gardner Minshew for a little bit. I mean, the guy can play. He can play. He can go out and he wants to win games, and he'll win games. So
I mean, what's the question?
Yeah, and there it is. I think he should be one of them.
To me, it depends on where.
Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, will be. Who are all the free agents? 1 second.
To me, it depends on where, because for some reason I'm just not. He's kind of in the same category for me, like a guy like Heineke. You just don't always know what you're going to get. He's going to go out there and compete, but you don't know if it's going to result in wins and solid. I mean, Denver does need a quarterback, but they've been looking for a quarterback for how many years now? But I don't know. It just depends on. I don't know where a situation would be good for him. I mean, he gets traded to Philly to be a backup, and then he has to take over here. So, I mean, Matt, do you have any teams in mind?
I mean,
I don't know if I want him going in for Pittsburgh after Ben retires. I don't know if that's a good solution.
We'll have to see.
But, I mean, back to this game. I picked the Jets to win this game. I felt like they were going to.
Yeah,
that just adds to my poor picking record. But
Alex making his effect in the show here, the producer. Minshew to Cleveland? I don't know. I mean, if they ruin Baker's career anymore by playing him, I think they should probably pick up another guy. But why do that to Baker and then pick up another guy?
Well, honestly, though, to me, if you're going to replace Baker with a guy like Gardner Minshew, you already have Case Keenum, and to me, they're kind of the same player.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make sense to me.
Case is getting a little bit of old, but
I just think this Baker's. I'm not trying to get off topic of this game, but I think this Baker stuff needs to be put to rest. This guy is honestly, he's not an elite quarterback, but he's better than what the Browns have had in a long time. And who are they realistically going to get that's better? That's just me. I mean, he's been hurt half the year. I know. I know. I've been saying, if he's hurt, just sit aside. But
just sit him down.
You got to give him credit for just playing, though.
Alec, come on now.
He just said good job to me, so I stuck up for him. I did a good job.
Yeah, I know. But Baker, he's their guy. He is. And, Stefanski is playing him. They a couple of weeks ago, they have no intentions of sitting him. The guy is hurt, and he's playing his heart out.
Well, we'll see, because they had a bye week this week. Baker said he's been feeling better, so we'll see.
We talked about this, too. So, yeah, we'll see. He's feeling better.
And,
this is one of his good weeks. He's got to
we'll that game against Baltimore, had an effect on their playoff chances. And, we'll see with him having that extra week. We've seen it help players in the past. We'll see it with Aaron Rodgers this week when he comes back with his toe injury. He had the bye week too. So, teams use this as their advantage. Quarterbacks do when they're hurt, and any player does when they're hurt. So, I still give Baker credit. He's not the whole problem. It's part of the play calling as well. They're getting away from the running game. It's just they're trying to do too much. They, make it easy on him for how injured he is. That's my thing. Matt. Uh-oh. You there?
Am I here? All right. I was cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, you were getting faded there.
I'm back. Yeah, I was getting faded. I thought I was going to cut out. It's around that time, too, that happens. But I was still here. What were you saying? What were you saying?
The whole Baker. You know how I feel about it. It's
stuff. Well, yeah, I know how you feel about it. Well, let's talk about this game. I mean, Miles Sanders for the Eagles, 24 carries, 100, and oh, geez, yeah. Mike, your dogs are out again.
Somebody else is walking again. Just let them do their thing.
Geez.
You can't contain them. You just got to let them go.
The other day, and they know who I am too. And they're
just like
even Charlie's like, yeah. Like,
well, when you sit in the house all day and have nothing to do, and you see somebody walking by, that's all the action they get all day.
Yeah. So don't blame them. Don't blame them to bark.
So
what
are you gonna do? All right.
Well, Miles saying, nothing. Yeah, they're dogs. They're gonna bark.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got?
It's just. All right, Miles Sanders, 24 carries, 120 yards. There's the guy to look out for.
That's what I was going to say, too. They finally got him going.
Yeah, they finally got him going, but I don't know what his contract deal is. I have to look into that. But if he's the guy that becomes free to go on any other team, they better pick him up because, he can get going when he wants to. But I like him to stay in Philly. I think he's the main back there. He's Penn State. Yeah. Not a lot of people really look at him, he went to Penn State because he was right there with Barkley. He only had really one season after Barkley left. So there's that. The Jets are the Jets. So I don't know. I really don't have that much. Zach Wilson back in, one interception. Yeah. But
you see right there, ranked 22 in rushing this season. You kind of expect more out of Miles Sanders. It's just the inconsistency.
Yeah.
Because he has games like this and he looks sweet, but then he kind of tails off a little bit. And, he's another guy that's had little ticky-tack injuries. So they can get him going and he has more confidence and stays healthy. He's a solid back, and that's a guy I need to keep in Philly. I like him in Philly too, man. I think it's a good place for him. He's been there since he got drafted, so he's comfortable there. And I think he fits well there. And if, he helps a guy like Minshew and, Jalen Hurts if they're in there and the passing game's not working. So I definitely like him there.
Yeah, me too. All right, moving on here. Next game, got the Chargers versus the Bengals. And the Bengals, who have been doing pretty good lately, coming into this game, 7-4, get totally blown out by the Chargers. What's this?
You know what the thing is? I kind of thought.
I was totally shocked.
When I was watching this game and then I was looking at the score, I wasn't, watching it the whole time, but it's like every time we have a game like this that, we had it with the Ravens and the Chargers earlier in here, we have big games like this, normally turns into a blowout. And, they were up, I think the Bengals were down 2 coming into the fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden the Chargers put up 17, pull themselves away. So just like that, a blowout again. Credit the Bengals for coming back in this game, but they didn't show, especially on defense, giving up 41 points, that they can get stops when it matters, when they're trying to come back into a game. And you don't want to get yourself down too early, and that's what they did in the game. But on stat-wise for them, Burrow had a good game. He threw 300 yards. So
still threw
points 300 yards. Sometimes things stall out, and Joe Mixon had 54 yards on 19 carries. That's not as much yardage-wise as you expect him to get on 19 carries. The way he's been playing the last few weeks, and you even saw it in your Pittsburgh game against him. He just ran all over people. And
it seems like every other week, they're blowing people out. Like we'll go back, the Jets. After that, we'll go right after. We'll go with the Bengals here. Back on October 17th, they beat the Bengals 34-11. Okay, then they beat the Ravens 41-17. Lost to the Jets 34-31. Got killed by the Browns 41-16. Killed the Raiders 32-13. Killed the Steelers 41-10. Then got killed to the Chargers 41-22. So it seems like one week, their offense is on it or their defense isn't on it. And
well, that's what I've been kind of saying. That's what I've been kind of saying about the Bengals. And I kind of said that when you cut off there for a second. Every time we've had a big game like this, like I said, Chargers, Ravens, we had other big games, that we were hyping up. This could be a game of the weekend. It ends in blowouts. And some of these games consisted of, the Bengals in this game, in some of these games that, they look really good one week. And that's just, they're still a young team. That's why they're showing consistency. They blow out the Steelers. Steelers
wait till they play like this all the time.
Wait
till they play like this all the time, and it's coming. It is coming soon in theaters.
And as far as the Chargers here, the question to me, I don't think so. I think it's still the Chiefs. I still think it's their division. I still think you do not want to play them in the playoffs.
No, but you never know what will happen.
You don't. But as far as their offense, though, he asked that question. I know they haven't been playing as what we've seen the last few years, but it's hard to do that all the time. They're still playing good on offense. It's just not the standard that we've seen them play the last few years. And that's, to me, they're starting to wake up. They're starting to get playing better on defense, and I think it's still the Chiefs to win it.
Yep. I think so too. And Bengals, this is what they needed to rebound. They got a tough game. They get the Niners, Broncos, and Ravens the next 3 games here, and then they have the Chiefs. So they have to win more games. They have to win more games in their division too. They just keep beating people in their division, keep beating Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and the Ravens as well. I think they got the Ravens is one more time. And that guy, Jamar Chase, he just might be offensive rookie of the year. But what about Mac Jones?
There's some throw 3 times in a game that kind of hurts you.
Yeah, but that was the whole Belichick plan. That was this. Belichick builds a system for the whole team to succeed, not just for one individual. So if he's the game plan, if it goes to running the whole game, then that's what he's gonna do, and he'll go to it if he needs to throw every time. So Belichick's is doing whatever it takes to win games.
Honestly, I think it's going to be Jamar Chase, offensive rookie of the year, but. Like you're saying with Mac Jones, Bill Belichick is not stupid. He knows that the weather coming into that game, Josh Allen could throw all the times he wants in that type of environment with the weather. But do you really want your young quarterback throwing that many times when you couldn't kick the ball? The wind was too windy. You want him throwing Florida, in that environment and getting potentially throwing interceptions, bad things happening. So he's not stupid. That's why he only threw it 3 times.
Yeah. And especially when Mac Jones grew up in Florida and then went to Alabama. So
but it's Jamar Chase having an awesome year. The rookie of the year conversation, and he's with Joe Burrow. That's why they're so comfortable, and they just have that connection.
Oh yeah.
So
all right, moving on here. We're going into any more on this game at all, Mike? Chargers, Bengals.
I saw Alec had the question with the Bengals in the AFC North. I think obviously it depends on that game against the Ravens and Bengals and have their rematch, but you don't know who's going to win this division. You just really don't know. The Steelers still can. The Browns still can. It's not likely, but any of these teams they've been shifting throughout the standings in that division all year. So I feel like the Bengals can do it because I feel like the last few weeks, the Ravens, we've seen them come back. They couldn't do it against the Steelers. I just feel like Lamar Jackson the last week or two hasn't been playing himself.
No, he hasn't.
Maybe credit to the defenses they've been going up against, but to me, he just hasn't been able to do what he's known to do the last few weeks. And Could I see it being the Bengals? Yeah. And can I see the Steelers getting on a run? I don't know the way they've been playing, but they still could do it. So.
This is division. This is what we got here. The Browns are 6-6. Pittsburgh 6-5-1. Bengals are 7-5, and then the Ravens are 8-4. So they're all close within each other.
Yeah, so that December 26th game between those the Ravens and Bengals is going to tell a lot because they're a game behind each other.
Yeah, they're right there. So.
This division we've been talking about all year, it's going to be come down to the end. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome, and we're going to probably be there.
That Steeler Brown game might mean something.
Yeah, it might mean something pretty big. So
could be Ben's last game. We don't know.
Who?
I don't know who he's talking about. Just keep going.
I don't know who he's talking about. Alex putting. I don't know. So what?
There's no team involved. Favorites? I don't know who he's talking about.
I don't know. Like. Super Bowl favorites right now. Definitely on the NFC side. Arizona Cardinals.
I disagree.
You what?
I disagree.
You disagree? Who do you want? Cowboys?
No, I think it's Packers.
Packers? It's either Packers or Cardinals. AFC side's tough.
I don't know who you could really pick.
You could honestly pick the Patriots and probably get away with it.
Probably, because they're on that side of the league right now. They're probably playing the best.
Yeah,
but they still have rookie quarterback. You still have to think about that when you're making picks.
And
but
Josh Allen isn't done yet.
They're not done, and they're still a good team. That's the scary. I honestly could still see the Chiefs making a run.
Yeah, probably see the Chiefs.
I don't know who my favorite is in the AFC. I'm just trying to look at every team.
I don't know. It's up in the air. I've been thinking about it. I don't know, but you got the Titans in there, but no Derrick Henry.
They got Derrick Henry. They'd be my favorite.
Yeah, but
they don't.
I mean, you never know.
But I feel confident with the Packers in the NFC. For some reason,
it's either going to be Packers or the Cardinals. That's who I think on the NFC. No, wait, yeah.
I don't think it matters.
I don't even think it matters. Never mind what I said.
The Bears are out of it. Neither one. I mean, Justin Fields obviously is their future, but neither one has really resulted in much this year.
Leave Dalton in. Let Dalton get get the rest of the beating this year, and come on, get some good draft picks and get Fields going. Leave Dalton in. He can take a beating. He played in Cincinnati.
I mean, what did Dalton sign a 1-year deal? Let him finish it out.
Yeah, let him finish it out. He's a veteran. Give him the reps. So, all right, well, moving on here. We're going to go into the NHL now. The Dallas Stars are playing the Las Vegas Golden Knights. That's tonight at 10 o'clock. I probably won't watch it. I'll be sleeping or working.
Heck no, it's too late.
That's just
doing homework at like 2 a.m.
Yeah. I want to be watching hockey.
What do you like about this game, Matt?
I mean, Vegas Golden Knights 14-10, Dallas Stars 13-7. Very similar records. Golden Knights are 8-5 at home, and where is this? This is a home game. So, and the Stars are 4-5-1 on the road. So you got to look at that. Home ice is a big thing to look at here. But Dallas, scoring leaders. I like Joe Pavelski moving around. 7 goals, 12 assists. I like that part. But their left winger, I like his name, Roop Hintz. 11 goals and at least 1 point per game. But Las Vegas, I mean, they got Stevenson and Smith. Those guys are pretty good. They've been contenders for the past 4 or 5 years ever since they've been into this league.
Yeah, they really have been.
That's hard for an expansion team to do because you've seen the Kraken. I mean, Pittsburgh blew them up. 5 goals in the first period or something?
Yeah, but overall, though, the record's not terrible for an expansion team this year.
Yeah, it's not terrible for an expansion team. But I
think Vegas kind of set that standard that they were an expansion team. They go to the finals their first year, and they really haven't been bad since then.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with this game tonight, you got to look at Dallas, Matt, because they're in position to win their 8th straight game tonight.
Yeah, and
they're looking for 8 in a row, and, I mean, they're looking to – I mean, the last few games, I think 7 games, they've outscored their opponents 25-9. So they've been on a roll. They've been getting – they've been putting the puck in the goal. And they've been playing some good defense, only giving up 9 goals in the last 7 games. So they're playing good hockey. And their last win I think was 4-1 over Arizona. That Arizona's a bad team this year, but you know, you got to like what Dallas, how the way they're playing right now, and you got to like the way Vegas is playing it. I mean, you just ran through it all. They're both getting good goaltending on both sides, and they're both, you know, putting the puck in the net. And that's the name of the game. And you know, the last few games, I mean, Vegas is on a 2-game winning streak, so if they can get one tonight, that'll make it 3. So both these teams have a winning streak on the line tonight. So I think it's gonna be a good one. I'm not gonna tell you I'm gonna pick yet because I think you kind of know, but
yeah. Alex is picking
the Stars.
I'm gonna go with the Dallas Stars as well. You know, this Dallas Stars team was in the NHL Finals in 2020. So they still have, you know, I don't know if they got rid of all their players, but they still have to have that same system going with that team that led them to that Stanley Cup. So, and you put new players in with that, they just have to adjust with it maybe. And, you know, I got to go Dallas Stars here too. Alec, you're picking them. I'm picking them too. I say Dallas is going to win this game.
Only reason I'm picking them is it has nothing to do with Dallas, man. I do kind of like them though. I just for some reason I do. It's not really Dallas. I just like the Stars. I feel like they're gonna. Only reason I feel like they're gonna win tonight, 8th straight game to win, and they haven't done that in their franchise history. It's a tough game to go up against Vegas. They're pretty good at home, and I mean, like I said, they're a good team this year, and they have been. So it's a tough place to play. But I like what Dallas is doing right now. They're scoring a lot the last 7 games, like I said, and they haven't been giving up a lot the last 7 games either. So I think they're going to get their 8th straight win tonight. I think I could be wrong. I usually have been wrong the last few weeks, especially in hockey. But I got the Stars tonight.
Last time these two played each other was a 3-2 Golden Knights win in overtime. So maybe we'll see a repeat of that.
Got that in their minds.
Yeah, they got that in their minds. Like, hey, they beat us in overtime, and that's one thing to lose. But lose in overtime, like you still get the point. But man.
And I mean, most of these games in hockey tonight are good. You got Colorado and the Rangers tonight. We talked about the Rangers last week, how good they've been playing. And what's that?
We're actually going to talk another game here. This is the what game? This is the Friday game. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 9th. So tomorrow it's the Chicago Blackhawks facing the Montreal Canadiens. These two teams are kind of near the bottom here. You know, the Chicago Blackhawks are 9-14-2, and the Canadiens are 6-18-3. So these are the teams that kind of at that bottom a little bit. I
mean, you know, the Blackhawks have been on some hard times the last few years.
So wait, what?
They've been on some hard times the last few years, Chicago, and Montreal was a team that was in the Stanley Cup final last year, and they've been struggling so far this year. So that's kind of surprising to see. So both these teams struggling, like you said, coming in, and at least it's an even matchup coming into this game. You know, record-wise at least. I mean, I don't know the last few games. Let's see with the Blackhawks stats. I mean, they've been scoring a little bit.
Chicago, I mean, most of their players are getting a little bit old. You know, Patrick Kane, probably one of my favorite players. I have the shirt somewhere in that closet back there. But Kane's still leader of this team, and they picked up Seth Jones, who played in Columbus for a long time. So to add him, and I like all their younger players. You know, Alex DeBrincat, I like him. You know, they have a team. This team was in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Like, they made a playoff run. They won the first round, and they lost to a tough Golden Knights team who I think ended up going that year and winning. But to go from a playoff, you know, appearance and now a couple of years later, you're kind of in the, you know, the next couple of years you've been in the kind of the basement of the NHL. This is a game where you just got to be like, hey, let's go out and play hockey. They're in the same situation as we are, but we have to be motivated. And that goes for Montreal, too. They're looking at Chicago like that, too. Like,
yeah, like I said, it's the same thing. Like, same thing on Montreal's side.
It's still a little early. They still can make a run here, both teams. I mean, let's take a look.
Montreal's lost, bro. And it's the same thing that you were just saying with Chicago. This team was more recently good than Chicago was. They were in the Cup final last year, and they won a game against a good, you know, one of the better teams in the last few years in Tampa Bay last year. They were really good last year. And they've won a game to avoid getting swept. And, again, coming out of the gate, this, you know, you expect more when you get to the Stanley Cup finals the year after, and they haven't really done that yet. Like you said, there's still plenty of time for both teams to find something out. But, you know, Montreal losing 4 in a row coming in. So they got to get one. What is this Friday? Yeah. Or no, this is tomorrow night. Yeah. So they got to get one tomorrow night. It's at home, too, and you like to see them get one on their home ice.
Yes, absolutely. Montreal is currently last in the Atlantic Division, and then the Chicago Blackhawks are second to last. Just Arizona right behind them. But another team right up above the Blackhawks are the Winnipeg Jets. And Winnipeg has made some big playoff runs too, and they're kind of floating near the bottom this year. So maybe this is just a year where, some teams just kind of take it off, because look at the Anaheim Ducks. They're out there playing way better, and they've been in the garbage in the past couple of years. Alec making his pick. I'm going to go with Chicago as well here. I think Chicago has enough experience on their team to win this game. I mean, Patrick Kane led them to 3 Stanley Cups. So
yeah, championships too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They won them all. Was it 2010? I think 2015 as well, right before the Penguins won back-to-back.
I think it was 10, 13, and 15.
I have to look.
Yeah, check it out. But I'm actually going with the Canadians here.
Canadians?
They're still – you talked about it, the Blackhawks having guys like Patrick Kane and guys that have been there when they were – what's that?
I think they still have David Keith. I have to look.
Yeah, so they still have guys that were there when they were good and winning championships, but so does Montreal. They were just in the Stanley Cup final last year, like I said.
Patrick Kane also has Fleury. So
yeah,
you know how Fleury can play, NHL
you can switch him out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to go Montreal.
There you go, Montreal here. And so that's what we got for that game. And let's see, I'm looking here. It was 2010, 13, and 15 that they won. So it's been recent. They were pretty much the team of the 2010s, along with Pittsburgh. It was Pittsburgh and Chicago.
Pretty much. I mean, they won half of them in that decade.
17, right? So
9-14 one pick in the NHL. NHL's hard. It's hard.
Hard. It is hard.
Because you look, Alec looks at certain stats when he comes into these games. I feel like whoever's hot coming in, that's who I roll with.
Go with it. Yeah, because we watch it.
And it's hard. Hockey's hard. You don't know. You just don't know.
You don't know because it's hockey. Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to get the puck in the net. It doesn't happen that often, unless you have explode. He's got a brag here, going 15-8. But
get out. Well, all right, moving on.
Yeah.
Here we're going to go into the NBA. Here we've got about 20 minutes left in the show. We're cruising along here. We've got a couple more games to talk about. We're going to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Miami Heat.
You like this Heat team, Matt?
I like this Heat team. My Cavs beat them now.
And they almost beat the Bucks the other night. So
they almost beat the Bucks the other night. So the Bucks have, they're doing pretty good. They're in our division. But Cleveland's time is coming. If we have time, we'll talk about them too. But Milwaukee versus Miami here.
I mean, he looked to get one tonight because they're still banged up. They're still not having Jimmy Butler. I don't know what the status is on Bam Adebayo, but they're still banged up. And Milwaukee really isn't right now.
No,
they've been playing good basketball. They're defending champs. They're pretty. They just got DeMarcus Cousins, so they got guys to fill in. But
every time I picked a Heat in a game, I think I picked against them once. But every time I picked them, they have won. But
because you love
Milwaukee's on fire. I like the Heat. I do. I like them. And
these teams just played Saturday, and Milwaukee won that.
Right there, Bam Adebayo out for the next 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks. I mean, they just beat Miami Saturday night. They had that bad loss last Thursday to beat. They lost to Toronto, so that was a bad loss for them. But other than that, Milwaukee's been playing. I guess maybe not to what they're 16-9, so that's pretty good. Maybe they thought they'd be better coming in, but 14-11 for the Heat without having Jimmy Butler for a good amount of time and Bam Adebayo, and they're not going to have him for the next 4 to 6 weeks. They've been still holding their ground, and we've seen this with other teams throughout this year so far, that they've been missing their key guys, but they're still finding ways to at least compete and give yourselves a chance to win and end up winning some of those games. So you got to give credit to the Heat.
And the Heat, they picked up, they lost to that Cavs game, but and they lost to the Nuggets too, but they picked up a big win against the Bulls. And the Bulls are contenders too, but then they split with the Wizards, but they beat New Orleans, and then the Thunder is just a bad team. But then they beat the Jazz, and the Jazz is a pretty decent team. So we'll have to see what they can do here against the Bucks when Giannis is third in the NBA in scoring, averaging 27.6 points per game. I think that's going to be enough here. if we're making picks here, I gotta go Milwaukee. I think they're healthy. Miami is not, so I gotta go Milwaukee here.
I'm gonna agree with you too. I think
Steph is always first.
It's a 6-point spread coming in. Miami's getting 9 or 6, excuse me. But I feel like Miami's still tough to play at home. I'm not going to write them off. They're still to play at home. I mean, we know that, Matt. The Cats didn't win there up until last week for 11 years or 10 years or whatever it was.
Something like
so
that.
They're still a tough place to play. They always are tough to play there. But I think Milwaukee's playing better basketball going in, like you touched on. Recently, they just had that bad loss to Toronto, but they just beat Miami the other day. And normally when a team wins and they play each other again, like next few days, I usually like to go the other way. But I just feel like Milwaukee tonight.
Yeah. Gotta go. So we're going Milwaukee across the board with Alec, of course, picking Milwaukee. Next game here, we got the Jazz versus the 76ers. This is tomorrow night. And, the 76ers, 13-11, not doing too bad. They don't even have Ben Simmons, and they're above 500. So I like to look at that. Utah Jazz, though, I just mentioned them. They're clicking here, 16-7. So, this should be a pretty good one. This is going to be – where is this game?
There's a lot of games on tonight, Matt.
Yeah, there's a lot.
If we can get into some if you want to, that's time.
This game is in Philly tomorrow. Philadelphia actually plays tonight, I think.
Yeah, they play Charlotte tonight. That should be a good one. It's in Charlotte
tonight.
Charlotte's a good young team playing good, and I, like you said, I like the way Philly's playing without Ben Simmons. I usually like to look at teams. Yeah, and I usually like to look at teams when they're without their best players. How do you find ways to step up and win? And Philly's a team that's been able to find a way to do it this year. It has been pretty. They're still 2 games over, but it's still over 500. That's not what they're looking for. They have better expectations coming in, but considering what they're losing right now, that's they got to feel like in a good spot.
The last time they played the Jazz, it was a wall-up, 120-85. The Jazz took that one. And there's the man right there, Rudy Gobert, number 1 in rebounding in the NBA.
As he normally is.
Yeah. So I got to go Jazz here. Jazz are just, jazzing along here. Alec is going Jazz too. Mike, what do you got?
One is tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, tomorrow.
I guess I'll go Jazz too.
There you go, Jazz too.
You got guys like that down low, hauling in rebounds. It's hard to, box them out and keep them off the glass. And we just saw them against the Cavs the other day. They shoot a ton of threes, and they have guys that can make them. You have Donovan Mitchell and Ingles and Clarkson that, it doesn't always work, but they launch them up and they just keep launching until they get them in.
Most of them go in. Most of them go in. So
that's just the style they play, and it's been it works in the regular season, but not the playoffs. But
now, how about this one here tonight? We'll go ahead and talk Cavs here. Cavs are playing the Bulls. This one is going to be a good game. Cavs 13-12, lost a couple in a row, looking to get back on the winning track.
It's a good team, though.
Yeah, against good teams, and they got another good team here. The Bulls 17-8. So this would be a pretty healthy win if the Cavs manage to pull it off. And I think they have the players to do it. Of course, I'm going to go with the Cavs. They're my team. But this, I know. This is not an official pick. We're just picking up a game here to talk about to kill time. But
we got to find time to talk about our team too.
Yeah, but Alec is picking the Cavs here.
I'm sure we're all going to pick them.
Yeah, we're all going to pick. You're wearing a Cavs hat. You're going to pick the Bulls?
Well, the last couple of years I probably would have.
No.
Because they've been bad. But
yeah.
No, with the Cavs coming in, they had that last week. They won the 3 tough games on the road and pretty convincingly too. But their last 2, they had a back-to-back Sunday, Monday against a Jazz team and a Bucks team, and that's pretty brutal. Whoever made the schedule that way, that's pretty tough to play. Home against Utah, then they go the very next day they play at Milwaukee, and those are 2 really good teams. And they both lost, but they were in both of those games. And I was telling my dad today, he was like, they play the Bulls tonight, and I was like, the Bulls are having a good year. We'll see how it goes. He was like, yeah, but we're having a good year too, so it should be a good one.
Yeah, it should be a pretty good one here. And, when the Cavs played Milwaukee, they got Giannis on his birthday, and that guy isn't going to lose on his birthday. Yeah. So, they've been going pretty well here. They lose a couple in a row to the Jazz and, to the Bucks, but not a lot. Cavs have not been blown out this year yet.
Here's my thing, Matt. Let me ask you this question as a fan.
The Suns by 5, Nets by 5 again. They're losing tight games. Yes, the Warriors kind of blew them out 104-110. to
Yeah, but they started Ed Davis at center that game. So
yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah. Dwight Howard. It's his birthday today, man. How old is he?
I don't know.
He's old. He's old.
He's old. He's on the Lakers. Or the old team.
Yeah, the old new Lakers here. We talked about them a little bit yesterday. Dwight Howard is 36 years old, man. Yeah, I know.
Oh, there you go. You beat him, Matt.
I beat him.
But
36 years old. I mean, what a great career. I mean, we'll talk about him for a second. Yeah, they kind of snubbed him on that 75 team. A lot of people think that he should have been on it, but he wasn't. Mike, what do you think about that? We never really got a chance to talk about that too much.
I don't know. It's tough. He's had a good career, but at times it hasn't really felt like it has been good.
He's played on 9 teams throughout his career. The Lakers 3 times. And, I mean, everybody looks at that Orlando Magic, start, from 04 to 12. They beat LeBron and the Cavs, and, it was pretty much a boiling point with LeBron there. That's pretty much the series that made him make his decision to leave. So, I mean, he did a lot early, former first overall pick. But, I mean, a lot of people he's gotten better since, lately. Back with the Lakers again, even with Philly last year, he wasn't too bad. Now he's back with the Lakers again. I think, he hasn't done too bad, but I mean, he's still, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's kind of a shell of his former self a little bit. I mean, he's a little older and he's still playing good for his age, but man, that Orlando Magic, Dwight Howard was just something else. And, when he went to the Lakers the first time, and even the Rockets were like, what happened? What's going on here? They didn't even talk about him for years until he went back to the Lakers.
Well, obviously you point to the best part of his career being
hasn't been an All-Star since 2014.
See, and that's where I was going to go.
When he was on the Rockets.
That's exactly what I was going to go to right now. Yeah. Other than, at the Magic, that was probably his best part of his career. And, he wasn't really that good with the Lakers. It just wasn't a good fit there.
He was an 8-time All-Star, too. He was an All-Star from 2007 to 2014.
But when he was with the Rockets, though, they were a good team. They were in the Western Conference Finals once. Yeah. I think, both times they lost Golden State in the playoffs, which a lot of people did. But, ever since you could probably stretch it out to the Houston days when he was there with James Harden.
Yeah.
Other than that, from then until
he bounced around with Atlanta and then, the Hornets.
I think Charlotte and somebody else.
Yeah, the Hornets and
he just wasn't. You really didn't hear much about him. And then he goes back. He goes back to the Lakers the first time, and he wins the championship there. So you could add that to his resume. He has a championship. Yeah. He did contribute a lot. He helped a lot with that team.
Did. He contributed a ton.
The last few years he's bounced back. So he from 14 or 15 or whenever that was when they were in the conference finals against Golden State. From then until he went back to the Lakers, not this, the first time before he went to Philly, those couple years you didn't really hear much about him. So it just feels like, I guess you could say he is a Hall of Famer, but it just doesn't really feel like he's done a lot to me. I don't know.
Wow. So, I mean, you did play 71 minutes in that 2020 finals. Oh, man. Well, 17 rebounds, 17 points. I mean, so, Mike, he didn't really contribute too much in that 2020 finals.
I'm talking about that season.
All right, for that season, but in that finals, Oh, that was
I think that series won 6 games, too, so that's not a lot.
That's not a lot at all. I mean, he was just another veteran name on the Lakers like he is now. That whole team is filled with – they had Rajon Rondo on that squad, too, so –
oldest team, I think. They're like 2021, 22's version of the Cavs when they were – yeah, I mean, you're right. Yeah. And, he probably should be starting center for them right now.
You said that, that whole season and the playoffs, just not the finals too much, because that was kind of LeBron's moment. Like, hey, I'm here again. The vocal point was LeBron James. So,
but to get back before we move on from the Cavs, I had a question for you.
Yeah.
So you see I've seen this a little bit on Twitter. I don't know if it's actually a real conversation or not, but you see the Pacers want to sell some guys. Or would you want the Cavs to make a run for a guy like Harris LeVert? Because I would love it.
Harris, I even got something today. I mean, Harris.
Alex says no, but they need to make it happen.
I don't think so. I mean, I got something today that I looked at. I'm like, oh man. I mean, they were talking about Dame to the Cavs. I'm like, Dame to the Cavs?
That makes no sense.
That makes no sense whatsoever. Like, I like Dame. He's one of my favorite players. I mean,
but you have a young rising guy like Darius Garland.
There you go. And
here's my thing. Let me respond to Alec. And I think they need to get him because without Sexton right now, you don't. I don't think you could start if you want to continue playing the way you have been. I'm not trying to put him on the spot here, but if you want to continue the way you've been playing to start the season, you have Isaac Okoro starting at the shooting guard, and he gives you pretty much nothing on offense. I know he's a great defender, but
he's a great defender.
To me, if you can move bad teams like the Pacers are kind of bad right now, tend to take on bad contracts. I mean, the Cavs did it when they were the first year or two when LeBron was left again. They just took on bad contracts to get rid of some other guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, why not? Why can't a Pacer team take on a guy like Kevin Love? I've seen some trade proposals where they offered Kevin Love and I think Dylan Windler for Karis LeVert and I think Jeremy Lamb or something like that.
Kevin Love is playing off the bench though this year.
It would hurt, but I like Okoro just twice this season. Yeah, that just shows how balanced they are. But I think you need to have. They really don't have any options at the two guard right now without Sexton, and I don't think Okoro is that guy right now. I don't really want to get rid of Okoro. I like what he brings on defense. I think his offensive game needs to get work. Guy. But if you get a guy like Karis LeVert, that helps them a lot, and it brings in a guy that people know, and they're trying to get names in Cleveland. That's what we always talk about with Cleveland. You got to get names, and people know who he is. I would love it, but
I don't know who he is.
Karis LeVert, he played for the Nets.
Oh, okay, I see him right now.
Remember when he was there with Russell and they made the playoffs?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Jared Allen, he'd be with Jared Allen. They used to play together. They made the playoffs together.
Okay. Maybe.
Yes, right there. I would do it.
They need to get rid of Dean Wade. I mean, I'd be kind of heartbroken over Okoro, but I mean,
you got to give up something to get something.
Yeah.
And I think for the rest of the year, him playing along with, Darius Garland, the way he's been playing, shooting the ball, and other things he brings to the table, that definitely will put them in the playoffs and maybe compete in the playoffs. I would love it.
Honk. Who was that? Who's home here? I hear a honk.
No, who's home?
Oh, someone's honking their horn out there. I can't believe your dog's on barking right now.
Well, somebody's coming home. I don't know who it is. But can't see.
I see. I mean, they're also. I'm here on Twitter now. I hear, he becomes.
Yeah, so right there, you'd have him for the rest of the year, and you have Sexton back if they decide to extend him.
And they're also rumored to be. It says here on Twitter, also rumored to be interested in Terrence Ross, Cam Reddish, and Buddy Hield. What do you think about this?
So I don't think it has to be Karis LeVert. Like guys like that, I'd be fine.
Cam Reddish would be sick.
It would be, and
that would be.
I like Terrence. Terrence Ross is older, but I still like the way he shoots the ball. And they need shooters. They still need some more shooters. You can never have enough shooting.
I like Buddy Hield. I like Buddy Hield.
If it's not Karis LeVert, I want Buddy Hield.
Huh?
If it's not LeVert, I want Buddy Hield.
Yeah,
I've been kind of wanting him since the start of the year.
The dude from Oklahoma, right?
And you know what? Sacramento's a team that could probably take on a Kevin Love contract.
Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah, he is a good bench player. We need a starting guard right now to fill in for Sexton.
Yeah.
But I saw a trade proposal that would I think the Cavs would get Buddy Hield, and then we get Tristan Thompson back, which I don't like.
I like Ricky Rubio, but he's not the starting guy. He's a good bench player. He is. He didn't even want to come to the Cavs. Did you read that? He was mad. He was mad. Yeah, no more Tristan Thompson. That guy.
That's why I don't want him.
There's a lot of drama going on with him right now. He cheated on what was it, Khloe Kardashian with his trainer, expecting a kid with his physical trainer. We don't want that in here. 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. Yeah. It was horrible.
Yeah, I don't.
Times.
I'm just saying the proposal I saw. I'm not saying I want him. I'm just saying to get Buddy Hield. That's what I saw. Yeah. Not one. Yeah, 3 times. There you go. And half of them were with the Cavs too. I think most of them were.
Yeah. So early season favorite here. I mean, you got Phoenix and Golden State on the Western Conference side. It's insane over there. And I mean, on the Eastern Conference side, Mike, what do you think? Maybe.
I don't think the Nets.
No,
honestly.
I don't. I
don't think the Nets. I think in the West, I think it's gonna be Golden State.
Golden State or Phoenix. That's gonna be your Western Conference Finals. Unless
I love what Phoenix has been doing, but to me, Golden State feels like a team to beat. And when they get healthy, which they're going to be in the next month or so. No, they don't.
I don't think they do. I don't
really know. In the East, it's kind of a toss-up.
Will Milwaukee return? How about the Bulls? Bulls are a 2 seed right now.
Yeah, but I this is their first year together. I don't know how far they're going to go. I think it'd be cool to see the Bulls back in it, but
yeah, it would be sweet. Yeah, Cleveland, we're an 8 seed. We're in a play-in tournament. So
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think the Cavs are going to make the playoffs, and I don't think it's going to be a play-in. I think they're going to be above the play-in.
I think they'll make the playoffs too. I think they will. I do. Will Miami Heat return?
I'm going Warriors Bucks.
They're gonna go Warriors Bucks
for off the first 2 months or month and a half.
Yeah, I gotta go Phoenix. I'll go rematch of last year. Phoenix.
We haven't had a rematch since Cavs Warriors.
Yeah, we'll do that. Which bottom 5 team in the East has the best chance? Cleveland.
5 or lower. I mean, I don't know.
5
maybe
or lower. It's got to be either Cleveland, Charlotte. I don't know. Atlanta hasn't been.
Wait, are we talking to get to the finals?
Wait, or just to make the playoffs? Come on!
I guess the bottom
just
5.
Just playoffs.
Oh.
All right.
No,
good.
To me, Cavs are getting in. I'm taking that right now. They are getting into the playoffs.
Cavs are getting in.
I feel like they're going to be over this, 6 seed or over to not.
How about on the Western side?
Either way, they're going to be in.
How about on the Western Conference side? You got Dallas, Denver, Minnesota, and Portland's in there too, with the Kings and Spurs that's sitting out. Yeah, Knicks?
Knicks. No, they're not.
Knicks aren't going to make the playoffs?
I don't think so.
They're right outside of that line right there for the play-in.
I don't think so.
Do you think that was just a fluke? We got 3 minutes here.
I think
that last year was just like, oh.
I don't like the way they've been playing this year, number one.
Yeah, they haven't been too good. What's his name has been a big upset. Kemba Walker.
Yeah, and they have some good additions. They could maybe make a run, but I don't know. I just feel like they're not, because you have teams like Cleveland that wasn't in last year. You have teams
no, they can't.
No chance.
No.
They're 7-19 right now. You think he's going to come back and win? He's just not that guy yet. I don't know if he will be at all. But
no.
Matt, you could be right. I'm gonna say right now, you could be right. He might be.
Yeah.
So far, he is a bust.
I've been saying it for years. Okay.
What's that guy? Get out of here.
Zion is a bust. He's becoming a big.
I'm starting
to. Bust too. The guy's over 300 pounds.
All right, enough about that. You know who I think is going to make the playoffs in the West?
Who?
This might surprise you. They just fired their coach. 10-14. I think the Kings are going to make it.
The Kings? Oh,
look, there's only one team in front of them in the 10th spot. Portland.
Walton. That's an improvement.
They're only behind Portland. If they pass Portland, they're in the play-in tournament.
Yeah.
Portland's not done anything this year, and I don't think they are going to.
I don't think they are either.
Kings are getting in. I'm calling it. I like the Kings.
Call the Kings are getting it? What Buddy Hield leaves? Will they still get in?
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
see if the Cavs take them, I'll be happy. Then I'll change my mind. But
yeah, we'll make a run with Kevin Love. Kevin Love.
Yep.
We'll lead the Kings. He'll be back with Tristan Thompson.
No, I mean let's not have that happen. But yeah.
But we're gonna close it out here on the Casual Sports Podcast. Tune in to Power Hour Next on YSN. I've been Matt Morrison here with Mike Wolfgang. Alec will be back tomorrow. He's actually pretty much here today, throwing up his graphics right there at the bottom of the screen. But that'll do it for here today. Hope you all enjoyed the show, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.